Yo, what up, y'all? Slow Mo Backslap here, slapping y'all with another video. And yo, today we're going to talk about my most anticipated games of 2021. And yeah, these are the games that I do believe are coming out in 2021. There's a good chance that they may get delayed out of 2021. One for certain, I'm not quite sure, is actually going to come out this year. But regardless, these are the games that are expected to come out in 2021. And these are the games that I am most looking forward to. So before I go any further, please hit the like and subscribe button. Also, hit the little bell icon to be notified of my videos when they are uploaded, and let's just go ahead and get into it. So I'm gonna do these in ascending order of least anticipated to most anticipated. And yes, some of these games may not make it in 2021. There's always a chance, especially considering that we're still going through a pandemic, and that pandemic is not over yet, and that's still affecting the way these developers are developing their games and how much work they can get done. These games can definitely get delayed out of 2021. So just throwing that out there. Regardless, these games are expected, or at least rumored, to be out in 2021. So full disclaimer out. Number 6 on the list is Defloop. Now, Defloop is being developed by Arcane Studios, published by Bethesda. The current launch date for Defloop is May 21st, and it will be coming out on May 21st on the PlayStation 5 and PC. It will arrive on Xbox and possibly Stadia at a later date, but that's unannounced as of now. Now, Defloop is about an assassin named Colt who's stuck in this time loop, and the time loop spans just one day on this island. The only way to break out of the loop is to kill these 8 visionaries, and these visionaries are the keepers of the time loop. The trick is Colt has to kill them all in 24 hours or the loop resets. Meanwhile, Colt is also being hunted by another assassin named Juliana. Now, if you have your game online enabled, other players can drop into your game, a la like a Dark Souls kind of thing, or Watch Dogs if you've played those games, and they can take control of Juliana and hunt you down. If not, she'll be AI controlled for the most part. Now, it's my hope that when she is AI controlled, that the AI is pretty advanced and she shows up unexpectedly, more like the hunters in The Division and less like Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 Remake. Regardless, I'm really excited about this game. I like the way the gunplay looks. I like the gameplay elements they have implemented, how every decision that you make and how you attack these visionaries can change the tactics or decisions those visionaries take for the rest of the 24 hours. I just think this is really smart game development, and I'm not the hugest fan of Arcane Studios, but I do appreciate how they tend to push for new ideas and not just do the same thing over and over again. I appreciate that, even if it doesn't work for me sometimes, but regardless, definitely a game I'm looking out for. Now on to my 5th most anticipated game of 2021. That game is Outriders. Now, Outriders is being developed by People Can Fly. You may remember them as the developer that did Gears of War Judgment. This game is also being published by Square Enix, and it will be available on pretty much everything that you can think of on February 2nd. Because that's so soon, it's very unlikely that it's going to come off of that date. But regardless, Outriders is a game that's set on the planet Enoch, where humanity has settled there and was promised paradise, but something called the Anomaly has kind of turned it into a big nightmare for him. The game is a 3-player co-op looter shooter, but it's not a live game a la The Division or Destiny. This one will not have dailies and weekly missions that you grind out for rewards. It's not tailored for you to have to log in and play repetitive content over and over again to get better loot or to build better characters. It's a little bit different. It's clearly an offline game, and it will have expansions after launch, but not in the way that some of these other looter shooters are. You have different classes that provide different powers and abilities. The world tiers, they have world tiers that provide a way for you to complete activities for higher rewards and loot. And again, like I said, it's not like a Destiny. This may be shocking to some people, but I do find the movement and gunplay to kind of remind me of Remnant from the Ashes, but the abilities remind me of Anthem minus the flying. Also, the guns look way more unique than Anthem's guns, but I'm always interested to try out looter shooters. This one seems to have enough unique qualities to it to give it a go, and hopefully it's something that I can get some good enjoyment out of, and it really scratches that itch. So number 4 on my most anticipated games of 2021 list is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Of course, if you know me, you know I love the Mass Effect series, love the Mass Effect trilogy, and this Legendary Edition is exactly what I've been looking for. I'm the kind of guy that plays through the trilogy at least once a year. So having the ability to do so with all the single player based content and DLC from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, plus all the promo weapons, armors, and packs, literally all the expansions, all of that stuff with a remastered and optimized looking 4K, yeah, sign me right on that. Now, it will be coming out on the older generation consoles and PC, but will also be forward compatible with targeted enhancements on the next gen consoles as well. Am I somewhat concerned that BioWare might mess this up? A little bit. It's a little bit difficult to mess up something that has already been established. The story is already done. You don't have to change anything. This essentially is taking already made content and updating it with a more modern look. I guess if they still are struggling with the Frostbite engine, that might be a concern, that it might be pretty buggy at launch, but we'll see. My third most anticipated game is Kena Bridge of Spirits, being developed by Ember Lab. For Ember Lab, this is their very first game, and Kena Bridge of Spirits is about a young girl named Kena, a young spirit guide. She has this gift to help troubled spirits who are caught between the physical and spiritual worlds, and Kena has traveled all the way to this sacred mountain shrine, and she needs to uncover why the spirits in the forest nearby seem troubled or disturbed. This also leads her to going up against this big antagonist and everything else that ends up going on. Now, Kena Bridge of Spirits will not be an open world game, but will instead feature a big hub village, which is connected to several different regions. What you will end up doing with Kena Bridge of Spirits is cleansing the darkness from these areas and restoring it back to the way the forest should be. Now, there is no set release date for Kena Bridge of Spirits, but Ember Lab is targeting Q1 of 2021, so hopefully a release date before April of this year. And Kena Bridge of Spirits will be released on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC. So number 2 on my most anticipated games of 2021 list is Final Fantasy 16. It might be somewhat shocking considering how I have not felt Square Enix has made a good mainline Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy 9. Final Fantasy 16, as I said, being developed by Square Enix. Might not be coming out this year, but there are some that do believe it is coming out this year. Regardless, the game's combat looks like they have taken the combat from Final Fantasy 15 and finally made it a little bit more in depth, a little bit more deep than that combat was. Final Fantasy 16 will be a PlayStation console exclusive that's coming to the PlayStation 5. And the reason why people believe it's coming out this year is that the game has apparently been in development for 4 years, although how many developers have been dedicated to the project throughout those 4 years is unclear. Either way, Jesse Schreier said on a podcast called Triple Click that he believes the game is coming out sooner than people think. This has led a lot of people to believe it's coming out this year. I'm still somewhat skeptical, but we'll see. It is promising that they showed so much of the combat and cutscenes from stories. It seems as if the game is further along in development than you would typically expect a Square Enix game to be once it's first announced. So we'll see. And my number 1 most anticipated game of 2021 is Halo Infinite. Yeah, Halo Infinite. And most anticipated for what it could be as far as being good, or what it could be as far as being a huge train wreck. I'm really anticipating to see how this turns out. Can 343 Industries really turn this around and make a Halo that's worthy of being called Halo? Or are they going to continue to disappoint? And what will the Xbox leadership do with the Halo IP in 343 Industries if this game does not live up to expectations? Like, all of this is so intriguing. It's probably the most anticipated game, I think, of anyone of this entire year, just because of what may happen. Now, it's due to come out fall 2021. It may be delayed again in either that, although I do believe they're not going to delay this game any further than this, especially considering I'm hearing that they're not changing the campaign and the campaign is complete. Then all they're really doing is trying to polish the game as much as possible and get the visuals up to par for what is to be expected of the most powerful console in the world. So that's my most anticipated game. What about you? What is your most anticipated games of 2021? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you liked the video, dislike button you didn't, it's all good, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this in the future. Peace.